today, everybody, is an opportunity to talk to Nisi here. Now, yep. And the name of your
Okay.
business is?
It's Studio 824 Beauty Lounge.
Yep, Studio 824 Beauty Lounge. So one
My
of the things,
coaching business is the Beauty Business Boss. So that's a separate
okay,
business.
Beauty Business Boss, right? So
Yes.
wonderful name. One of the things that you start thinking about, Nisi, as you build out your courses and we start thinking about where do we want to start, right? That's typical problem. We've got all these different things. I'm talking about a lot of stuff. I'm in groups. I'm all this all over the place. And one of the best things that by being in those groups and talking with your folks every week is that you start hearing problems. And that's one of the
Mhm.
best places to start. Oftentimes, we have to do everything we can to push back against what we want to do and do what the questions and problems tell us to do.
Mhm.
If you find, and this is, well, I say this because we'll do a lot of work in areas that people don't care about. We care about them. We love them. We think, oh, this is important. I had all these problems, and they're going, well, that's not my problem. I don't have that one. So one of the best things to do if you think about how to start is I'd start with the top 5 to 6 consistent problems people seem to be having right
Okay.
now. And that's from the I want to sell this thing to make some money. Now, if I just want to give general information, want to use something maybe to bring people into my funnel and all that kind of stuff, my information funnel and my sales funnel, then that becomes a different conversation. But in this particular case, starting off, as you had mentioned, that you would like to show people about private labeling. Now, imagine this. You're in your groups and people aren't even there yet. That's so far ahead of maybe some people, right? That it
Mhm.
may be niched out of what you want to do. Now, to create it, what I'd recommend if you say, well, gee, I just want to create it because I think it's very important that people start driving that kind of income into their business by private labeling, then do it fast, get it done, and have it as a subsection of, like I say,
Okay.
the bigger idea.
Okay.
So
So can I say something with that? Because that
absolutely,
actually
absolutely.
does bring me to something that I was planning. So I was planning on having like a bigger course with really how to start your own business, and that was going to be a part in there. But I didn't know if that was too big to start with. If I should start with smaller courses and things like get out smaller ones first, or so you're saying I should just go
It's an
for the
idea.
bigger one?
It's an idea. The bigger idea is like where you're going. So it's like you
Mm.
got in your car, right? And you says, well, I'm going to the mall. And then you says, well, okay, what way should I go? Now, a lot of people say, well, I'm not coming from your direction, so I'm not going to listen to that. So my point is that knowing where you're going to go allows you to then niche off of smaller things, right? For example, the smaller thing within the bigger course of how to start your beauty business. And that's one thing that
Okay.
kind of rung in my mind. How to start your beauty business is more niched versus how to start a business. Because now that
Right.
gets into, that gets into red ocean like for real. But how to start your beauty business, how to start your black beauty business, how to start, you see what I mean? You get a chance to niche off of that and then point it directly toward potential audiences.
Okay.
Now, within that idea, how to start your beauty business, then you say, when you get to the section that is private labeling, now it is a subset of the house that you've built called How to Start Your Beauty Business.
Okay.
You dig what I'm
So
saying?
let me
So
ask you this question
go
too,
ahead.
because so the thing about, private labeling in the skincare line, the reason why I was going to separate that is because you don't necessarily have to start this beauty business to start private labeling. You know what I
Oh
mean? So
yeah, right, right, right.
that could get also different people. This is another thing, because I watched this webinar last week. So
Mhm,
I was
mhm.
trying to figure out how to narrow that down even more. So this could reach some other people, because I'm kind of thinking about reaching people who are still working, because that was something for me, like who are working full time or working another job and
Mhm.
kind of want to get out of their job and then get into get more deeper into the beauty business. So for that, I was thinking about targeting people who are still working or still have another source of income and want to get something started, like a product line or something like that, to get out of that.
That's
Is
perfect.
that too much? Okay.
No, that's perfect. My point is that imagine if I said this: how to start your beauty business with private labeling.
Ah, okay. I see where you're going.
Now you've achieved that outcome. How to start your beauty
Yeah.
business with, right? So all of these with is like coming in a door. And
Okay.
you can knock that out quickly, right? And it may be something that you just got finished, is fresh in your mind. You've got all the context, you got stuff that you can like drop out real quick. And then now somebody says, I would love to get into the beauty business, but that's too big. And you just says, with private labeling.
Okay.
With all of these subsets. You see my point here? And the thing that I was suggesting is that know where you're going and then do these doorways, if you will, these jump off
Okay.
points. And you can
So
niche
you're
those
saying
down.
I could just, so you're saying I can just start off, I don't have to have like the bigger course created yet, but just start with these other little ones and kind of build up to that?
And that's
Okay.
absolutely up to you. The bigger course, and the reason I say that is that based on, and this is why I said, based on what your clients, what you keep hearing people talk about, they may not be ready for the big one. They just want to know about this. So why fight that? If they just want to know about nails, if they just want to know about esthetician type things, if they just want to know about this, and you keep noticing that seems to be the trending problem, then go solve that problem.
Okay.
Right now, they understand. It's like I used an example the other day. I said, you know how you back in the day we had house parties, right? Maybe you don't remember that, but house parties,
Yeah,
you wasn't
I
in the
was
whole
young.
house. You were in
Yeah.
the basement, or you were over in the
Yep.
kitchen where people were eating, right? And then they may have had a door just to that part of it. Remember how back in the day, you had a door going right into the basement.
Yep.
So you don't have to invite people into the big house to get them in the door.
Okay.
To then, once in the door, present and sell them different things. So they can literally enter into the private labeling door or whatever
Okay.
other ones that you notice and or that you have a desire to present to folks, right? If you just say, you
Okay.
know what, I don't care what you guys are talking about in these groups. I'm not solving problems. I just want to do this one because it's fresh in my mind. Okay, that's fine. And then go see if people buy it. But don't spend
Right.
too much time on it because you don't know if anybody's going to buy it yet. Or it can be
Right.
really red ocean. So try something, get it done quick in a weekend. I'm talking about in a weekend or less.
And see, that's what I struggle with because I've sat down like a couple of times and tried to write this out, and I don't know what is going on. It's like I don't know if I'm probably overthinking it because I do that a lot. So I'm like, how do I? Right. So like, how do I like get that or plan it out so that it's into a course and I'm not trying to, like I said, add too much or make it more complicated.
Exactly. So, and this is where you'll probably rely on the people that you've talked to before, right? What they seem to be talking about. And that's why I go back to this. It's all about what our customers are asking for, not what we want to do, right? But this is a way, this is a step. This is how I would do it typically. And my little system is I may have something like this. I may have an idea based on what I've been listening to or based on some keyword researches I've been doing. And then I'll start it off like this. Really easy stuff. These are just 5x7 cards that I get over here at the dollar store, literally. And then I start with a pile of them. And then I start asking questions. What are people asking about? Write that down, the answer. Boom, that's one card. Flip it over. Then I say, what could I add? What could I tell them? What do I know? What do I remember? Boom, write that down. Because now what you're doing is, by doing it this way, is you're separating all that you know. Right? And then it forces, you can't put a lot on the 5x7 card.
Right.
Right. And I'm using what they do in the movies. Disney still builds movies like this. Now, some people do it online and all that stuff, but I can tell you, I've done them online. I can move them around better when I got them. I can be, working, have 3 or 4 of them in my back pocket and think of something, put it down. Just write it down real quick. Be in a tub, think of something, write it down. Now, what then happens is that you kind of get an idea of what you're talking about because you've asked questions, you remember what people are talking about, and then you are now just able to give a little bit of what you know in a section that's not a lot. Then when you're done, here's the key part. When you think you've exhausted all the things that you believe people may ask questions about, or what you want to, or do you what you had questions about, now you take those cards like this, and you've got the outline for your course. You spread them
Okay.
out, and this is what I do, right? I'll spread them out. If you notice behind me, I got a book that I'm finishing up, I think my 7th book or something like that. So, and they're all on little cards like this. The chapters are all, it's 20 chapters. Can you see that all right? It's 20 chapters. And what I'll do is this right here is chapter 15, learn and adapt, right? Now, I'll ask of these, I'll lay them out. What am I thinking? What does it mean to learn and adapt? That would be the first thing. So what does it mean to, you know, a white label, private label something? Oh, what is it? So you see, that starts to become the beginning. And what you're doing then is you're putting them in an order that makes sense based on questions you've heard, based on what you remember learning, based on what you wish somebody had told you. Put them in an order that's beginning to end or themed. You know what I mean? Some people say, I want to have all hair, I want to have all nails. You have a theme, right? Now, keep in mind, this isn't the big course. You've got the door into the house.
Okay.
Right? Now, when the big course comes, you know what's going to happen. The big course comes, you're going to put together all of the little courses you created.
Right.
And the big course is done.
Okay.
That becomes the easier version of this. Now, what I then would do is I would then say, okay, I'm laying them all out, right? So in front of you, you got them all out. Now you say, okay, I think I'm ready to answer the questions that I've put down on this paper, based on what I've been listening to, based on what people are talking about, and they still have problems about, based on what I think that would be a very easy way for them to make a couple of bucks when they're working full time. And then you start giving your headings and your titles based on that. How to start a beauty business if you're working full time. Boom. You see what I mean? So you can niche off of that. And then you say, okay, here are the 7 things, here are the 10 things, here are the 15 things, here are the 20 things that you need to know if you want to start a beauty business when you're working full time. That could literally be the course's title. Right now, they come into that mini course. And this is where, you know, when we get into talking about the funnels and all that kind of stuff, how you bring them into the funnel here, but then you're trying to deliver them here. And that could be to the bigger course. They're ready to, you know, quit their job. And they says, well, shoot, I'd like to know about the whole thing. And you say, that's fine. I've been in business for, 10 years. This is how I found, this is all the mistakes I've made. Here's 7 things you want to avoid, 15 things you want to avoid. That could be sub courses. You see my point here? And then after they've taken, now the beautiful part about this is that these are all individually priced, but they get a chance to jump in where they want to.
Right.
The big course, $1,900, let's say. The other ones could be your, $300, $400 courses, $47 courses, $7.50 for whatever you're using as your tripwires, whatever you're using as your lead magnets, whatever it is, free stuff, you know what I mean? Free from Nisi. They can, in that particular case, you can take pieces of what you talk about on your weekends into your groups. And then that could be lead magnets into the bigger deal. That makes sense a little bit?
It does, yes.
Right? And then what you're doing is you're stepping it down. You're literally by putting it on a little piece of paper. And if you like, say, if you just rather put it online, that's whatever, because you got these places you can go to put up cork boards and note cards or whatever, right? And you can follow it that way. And then when you're ready to record, you literally got them in front of you. You put a little script, right? So that you're not just freewheeling, right? You got to put a script to each one of those. And then you go into it and says, okay, so one of the first things you want to do is this. Because what ends up happening is when you're trying this, what you'll find is this, In my experience, it has been. So now you're talking it through logically and people in a way people can follow. When you're done, bam, you turn it over. That may be 3 to 4 to 5 minutes in a segment. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you get into your editing program, edit it out, or you can wait if you want to, or you can edit out each one. Right. I would probably wait. Now you go to the next one. So it becomes your transitional moment, right? You have maybe a picture that is talking about that subject. So now what you're using is blog type things. Like if you were doing a blog, you'd have a picture and then you'd have your narrative.
Okay.
Right. And in your narrative, you're going to have your beginning. Hey, I need you to really realize that there are 6 mistakes that you can make when you get to this part of private labeling. Mistake number 1, not realizing it's going to take a little bit more time than you thought. Mistake number 2, you see what I mean? So now you're bringing them into it. And then you says, but
Right.
here are some of the things that I'm going to show you based on what I've done and what I've used. Here are some tips, some tricks. Here are some resources. Now they got something. Oh, great. This is cool. I got a link here that takes me to extra material. And you didn't have to curate that extra material.
Mm-hmm.
See my point? You never
Yeah.
had to curate anything, right? So, and then you're pouring out your knowledge, but you're bringing them along and you can show them specific things. So in my business, what I was able to do was I was able to purchase this used as opposed to new to save some money.
Right.
I was able to go over here. Like, for example, I helped my daughter save like $250. And I'm doing a video on that. Save my daughter $250 on a label. Why? She brought me the Avery blah. I went to Avery's site. I was able to go on, type it everything in, put it in my printer one at a time. Boom, save $200. Why? Because them folks over there at Office Max was getting ready to say, if we set it up, it's going to cost you You see my point here? You're doing that now. So for your labels, for example, let's do this. Here's who I use to make my label. Or you can go right on the Canva. You can do this. You see me? So now you're just bringing them to very slowly that thing they need to do to white label. You call up a company. You want to call this source. All this stuff is now them listening to you and going, oh my God, you saved me so much time because I didn't have the time to do the big course, but I really, really wanted to make a couple of bucks. And you showing me this white labeling opportunity. Oh my gosh, that just saved me a whole bunch of time. When they start making some good money, then they can say, you know what, I want to be totally 100% in the beauty business. Where's your other course?
Okay. Gotcha.
Does that answer a little bit of your question? Hopefully all of it.
Yeah, it does really. Like
That's
I said, I just need to do it.
Bring your questions. Being pulled to it. One of the things that I've been doing lately, and it's working out amazingly well, is I've just been saying, I'll walk alongside of you. Right? Like we're doing right now.
Right.
So if we were in a different kind of session, then I'd say, all right, let's pull up the material. You got your material. Let's pull it up. Let's pull up your funnel. Let's pull it up. And I'm going to show you how to bring in all the pieces. Right.
Okay.
And then we do that. And then by the end of that session, you've got it done.
So you mean like including like a one-on-one session, like with your course? Okay.
Right.
So that's something I should definitely include.
This is what you can add as an addendum to, or that's going to be more expensive, right? You can tell people, hey, listen, if you want me to do it one-on-one, this is what this costs.
Okay.
If you want me to create this course for you or this thing for you, that's fine. This is on the shelf. You pull it off the shelf when you want to, but just know if I show up, that's inflation. If you're cool. Some people says, I don't care. I can read all the books I want to. I can't do a push-up. But when I got somebody there with me, I do 5.
Right.
So you then become their business coach. Now, the problem that you can get with something like that is if you get into too many one-on-one situations, then you can't scale that.
Right.
So you'll be
what about maybe, I wonder how would this work? So like if I offer that and do like a group coaching thing, so like for people, I'm trying to wonder how that would work. Like for people who buy like have like a Facebook group or something like that. And then is that something that you could do?
Or a community, right? So you want to have exclusive access only to people that have bought. right? And you can do it in levels. Now, this is kind of getting into the weeds a little bit, but just understand that as you, depending on what level they may have bought at, they get access to your Facebook group, but then you have your private group.
Okay.
The private group are people that may have paid for the major course, the $1,900 course or whatever it is, right? And then now you can come in and do the what they call the one-to-many, is that you have specific things that they can, Q&A sessions that they can ask you questions. They can get, some of the resources that you have. Maybe you open up your Rolodex, but they've paid for that now. You know what I mean? And you say, hey, I don't mind giving you exclusive access to that, right? And then you can even do things like send me the questions you have, and then I'll answer them beforehand. And then when you get in there, it maybe is a live, a hybrid, right? It's live and then maybe some not live stuff. That's access, membership access. And that's another income opportunity for yourself. And as you come up with new stuff, you drop it into that membership area. If they're paying maybe a monthly, you drop it into the membership area. You see what I mean? Or if they pay the big course, but the ones that maybe pay $47, you know what I mean? They get the other community.
Right.
I mean, I'm serious. I mean, that's kind of the way it is. When they graduate up, that's the incentive to graduate up.
Right.
Right. Without being too salesy, you're saying, hey, listen, we remember back in the day, we go to the club, right? They had the little roped off section.
Yep.
And you'd be like, what's going on over there? This is the same club. That's VIP section. Over in the VIP section, you get a little better treatment. Maybe they send the different waiters and waitresses over there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some stuff is prepaid. That's your opportunity to do that same thing.
Okay, gotcha. And who do you? This is another thing I was struggling with. Who do you use for your courses? Because I was looking at like ClickFunnels, but I'm like, I've heard good things about it, but I don't know if I want to pay like that $97 a month.
$97 a month is a monster. I don't use ClickFunnels. I copy ClickFunnels. And I say copy is I look at some of the funnels that they build, and then I go build them on my platforms. And there's a variety of places, and I'll have to send you, as opposed, because this is publicly live, right? Or it'll be live. I'll send you the links to who I use.
Okay.
Right. And you will be very pleased, especially when we start talking about, because if you think about what we're trying to do by building funnels, it's just a more specific website, right? You get a different kind of engagement when you build a funnel. You can drop people into different areas of the funnel. Whereas a website is just like, oh my gosh, it's all there. It's like going to get pain medication and you're like, too many choices, I'm going home.
Okay. And that was a question. So you don't think I need a website right now, or?
Well, I can't say that. I don't know I don't know who you're having conversation with, right? And I don't know what their specific problems are. And if you may not, you can skip all of that. I don't know, right? People may be so ready, they're just waiting on you to create something and they'll buy it. So that way you can use your LMS, your learning management system, whether it's Thinkific, whether it's Teachable, whether it's Kajabi, whomever it is, right? You can then use your LMS to drop them right into that. And then that can serve as your de facto website.
Okay. I was looking at Thinkific too. So
and there's Teachable. In fact, I'm doing a training on Teachable for a client, right?
Okay.
She has Teachable. So I says, okay, I tell you what, you send your virtual assistant over to me, and then I will teach her how to do the stuff. You know what I mean? And what that involves sometimes, and I use a variety of them. It depends on what I'm doing, right? If I'm doing some free stuff, maybe I'll use Thinkific. If I'm doing some, I might use Teachable, because they're all different, right? They all got their little quirks. And sometimes, you kind of go, I don't want to pay all that money. So, and I use another one for my LMS, for my learning management system, right? Because I use kind of an all-in-one. It's kind of like Kajabi. It just don't cost like Kajabi. And Kajabi is good, right? It does what it's supposed to do. So knowing who you're going to be presenting this to, knowing their level of readiness, right? And then what you're trying to accomplish and how fast is going to determine whether or not you could utilize or leverage out a website. If I I would use a website as a means to have my blog, right? The thing that I'm going to do some SEO, some traffic driving type of things. I would use the website as a place where maybe I put um, my YouTube videos that I want to get more views on. I'll put them on the website, and every time they click
Yeah.
on that, they get more views on your actual YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it's all
Okay.
becoming, it's the strategy, right?
Mm.
And you're saying, what's going to break down my approach to getting this information to people? And then you be wary of it. Okay, I'm gonna be over in the weeds over here learning this. That's gonna be terrible, right? But my clients, my people need this now. So I'm gonna be in a weekend taking my little 5x7 cards, right? That I paid $100 for 100 of them, I paid $1, right? And then I'm gonna write out my course. I'm gonna think it out, ask
Mm-hmm.
questions, put it down. Then I'm gonna record my presentation, if you will. If you need some
Mm-hmm.
extra stuff, then you go and grab a piece of PowerPoint, put it up so you can have a visual, not the whole thing, right? You don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have to build the whole thing there. You just do a little bit. What you believe that is going to be, I need them to see this. This is instructional,
Okay.
right? I use a free site where I can do some whiteboard stuff, but you can also use, I just did a video on this the other day. You can also use Zoom. Zoom's got a whiteboard.
I was going to ask you if I could just use Zoom because I do have that. So.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's all about, can I be effective with what I got, right? I
Right.
can show you how to build a funnel using your email marketing system,
Mm-hmm.
right? Free ones, Mailer Lite, Send in Blue, whatever you're using, right? You can literally go on there and they're powerful enough that you can build out the beginnings of your funnel. Hey, here's a free something. Here is a video. Here's a link that brings them into your email list. Hey, oh, by the
Right.
way, once you click on that, here's the automation that gives them everything else. So you can
Yeah,
build
and I
it
need
right
to get
there.
better at that because I have an email list. I have like a sequence that I use for my emails. So I need to get better, like more consistent with that. But I can kind of add, once I create this, kind of add that into there and like have the funnel and
Yep.
everything.
And you'll
Okay.
want to do that because you're going to want to grab and grow that. And we've talked about this because you've come to my class before, right? You
Mm-hmm.
want to grow that particular section because you can have a specific conversation. You can even
Right.
say, hey, people that are not responding, don't send it to them. And your email service will go, okay, it's intelligent enough to go, fine, they haven't opened up anything. So we only want the people that are active. And you show
Right.
them that. Hey, got a new course, everybody. It's free. It's right over here. If you bring 3 people, I'll give you a percentage, right? So that becomes another opportunity to grow your list in a very simple way,
Okay.
right? You're going to use
Yeah.
that list like crazy. Trust when I say this, because when you get Nisi, when you get into how am I getting traffic into my courses, how am I finding people that want to know more about private labeling in the beauty industry? How can I? You're going to then want to you're going to want to go out and look at how you're getting them now, asking questions of that. Is it working? Am I getting enough? Can I scale this up? Is this enough money? If not, where would I go to find those folks? Well,
Okay.
YouTube, Google, Facebook, you know what I mean? Then you start saying, I use paid ads. Here's the traffic source that works for this industry, right? And that's kind of digging into it a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually, if this is going to be the thing that makes you like $1 million, right? Or it's going to make you a lot of money. And I like to say this, I keep my little notes here um, that, that things aren't guaranteed, typical. But if you get out there and you're going to be growing this thing in a really, really cool and predictable way, you'll be wanting to use perhaps paid ads and or your email list.
Okay.
Your email list can make you rich. Give you an example. You saw this on my email. You were on my
Mm-hmm.
email, right? And you was like, all the other stuff you sent, I'm not listening to that, but that one hit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one, right? And because it was specific, it was talking to you.
Right.
And you called. And now here we are. Same concept. You're going to be sending emails and people are going to be like, man, what is this stuff she's talking about? And then they're going to be like, that's the one. It could be that title that gets them. If you're working a full-time job, here's how to start your beauty business. Who doesn't want to start a beauty business, right? I don't want to, but you know what I'm saying? You know, right? I do, but for men in a certain
Right.
way, because we need
Yep.
our, help too. And we're, hard-headed, but you never know. That could be an audience. You see what I mean? Then
Mhm.
I would be talking specifically in a specific way to a specific audience, driving them into the funnel, right? Whomever you use, ClickFunnels. The only problem I have with ClickFunnels is this, is that they're so hypey that it gets me it gets me into, yeah, they're just a car salesman.
Okay.
Versus, how you would go and you were able to go to certain car dealerships and they didn't harass you. They were like, you can buy or not buy. It's a great car, right? They didn't come out and get you, knock at your door. Hey, So that's what kind of gets me a little, settle down, guys. You know what I mean? Stop selling me the program. It's too MLM-y. That's the only thing I
Right.
had a problem with. So I found something that I could do, just anything that they can do, anything for a whole lot less.
Okay.
And that's just me. I don't need to
That's what
be
I
a
need
part
right
of their
now.
club. Yeah, so I'll get you a link. I'll get you a link to that because I'm an
Okay.
affiliate for them, and I'll get you a link to that. And then one of the cool things is if you need any training on it, I can come in and do the training.
Okay. I
And that's the
appreciate
good
it.
part.
Yeah.
So question number 3.
hmm
What's your question number 3? What else do you got?
To be honest, you answered like pretty much everything. It was mostly getting started. And that kind of helped me. So I'm gonna try that with the note cards. And I like I said, I just need to do it. Like that's my
Yep.
my issue. But I asked a while ago in my group about the private label, but I'm gonna try what you said about just asking just a more general question. Like, I don't know, like what do you need help with in your beauty business? I feel like it should be more specific than that though. Like instead of just like what do you need help with in building your
Yeah,
business?
because not everybody's going to admit that. Remember that,
Yeah.
because we're prideful. We have pride, and we don't want to let others know that although I've been around for 5 years, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So you will figure out from what you see people continually complain about. Hey, what's bugging you right now about?
I can go
They'll
into
tell you that.
I'm in a ton of esthetician groups. Honestly, I can go in there and pull out a bunch of questions probably just from that.
And you don't even have to ask that. You can say, hey, does this bug you? You can just come on. Now there's some other ways that I can, show you that you can get questions that people are asking on Google, right? And that's where you kind of get into the SEO stuff.
Yeah, I have one of those. It's like keyword, I think keyword something.
Which one do you have? Keyword everywhere?
I think that's what it is. Yeah, because you pull up, you type in a question and it'll pull up other related questions.
Yep. And one of the things, one that I use, and I want to show you this real quick, is it is it's a really good one. It's called Answer the Public, right? Let me see if I got it up right here. I think
Answer the Public.
Yeah, Answer the Public. And basically what they're doing is they're telling you that this is what people are asking. Right. So let me go ahead and pull up answerthepublic.com. And you type in one question. This is a cool thing. Man, I love this. And you can get away with it for free. They give you like, I think 5 questions. They'll tell you I got like 1 question left or no questions left, right? So, all right. Let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. All right. So Answer the Public, right? Move this out of the way. Now I want to show you a couple things. So you put in a beauty, let's say beauty, what is it?
Beauty business, or how to start. What do you talk? How to start a beauty business?
Yeah, let's put that in. How to start. Okay, let's say it. Let's use 2 words. Start a. Right. Start a beauty business. Start a beauty, and then search. Let's see if it gives me. Great. I was like, because I've been using this thing so much. Right. And then what it'll do is it'll tell you what kind of questions have been asked around that subject matter. Right. 61 questions. Now, look at that. How can I start a beauty parlor business? How can I start a beauty supply business? How can I start a beauty? How do I start? You see now, how do,
Yeah.
How do I start my own beauty business? How to start
How
a
to start a beauty business
yes,
online. That's a good one.
yes. Look at this. Can, will, are, who, where, when, and then they give you all these different opportunities. Look at this. How to start a beauty business where specifically
In
in Nigeria.
Nigeria.
How to start a beauty business in wherever you're at. You're still in Grand Rapids, aren't you?
Yeah.
How to start a beauty business in Grand Rapids, Kentwood, Wyoming, Muskegon. You see the point here? And you can, and I'm gonna get excited because you get into running Facebook ads, you can run them geo-targeted just to that area.
Right. Okay.
You see my point? That's where you start going, oh my goodness. Or you get in your Facebook groups and you start listening to it and you come over here to answer the public and you type in what you keep hearing people talk about. Hey, what kind of issues are you guys having? And they may say, people don't pay, people coming in with nasty nails. You see my point here? So then you can
Yeah.
say how to, satisfy your customers' needs without turning them off. You know what I mean? You can come up with all these subject matters. Look at this, right? So now answer the public is basically a big old where people have gone into Google, asked these questions, and then they scrape it, right? They just scrape it, right? Now they got a section that they charge for, and then look at this. So we go here first. Look at this. That's 61 questions. Now we can go down to 42 prepositions. How can I start a beauty business? How can I start a beauty supply business? How can I start a beauty business from home? Are you kidding me right now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So then you can even keep going down, start a beauty business, 18 comparisons. So they go start a beauty business and versus, or you have an opportunity to have subject matter for I don't know how long, right?
Yeah.
And this is free unless you get over, if you ask, I think I've asked maybe my I'm into March now, right? So they give you so many per month free.
Oh, it's monthly. Okay. So
right?
That's actually not bad.
But imagine 61 questions. Let's say you take a good 15 of them. You can do, if you're in the YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff, you can come up with 15 topics.
Right.
Right. And what I do is I show people how to come off with 15 topics, then how you do subtopics. I use stuff that we used to do back in school. Remember how you used to diagram sentences? I don't even think they do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, why am I diagramming a sentence? I will never use this.
But
now
this is
I
why
find myself using it. Because I'll take one word and I'll diagram off of it. I come up with 4 or 5 other things. I'm like, oh my gosh. Same concept. That's how you're going to build.
Yeah, I'm definitely using this.
That's how you build questions. And based on, I use this when I'm in YouTube and I'm getting ready to put in my keywords for a particular video. I'll plug this into the thing, and then I've got vidIQ and all that stuff. Then I'll put them in, and I always get a ranking, a number, right? Because vidIQ will tell you right up to 100% how many people are talking about this or whatever, right? Or 50%.
Oh wow. Okay.
You know what I mean?
I have to go back and edit my YouTube videos because I have some, like, and see if there's some keywords that I could edit.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting a beauty business. Oh my gosh. How can I start? I love this thing. Starting a beauty business. They sometimes ask them all over.
I like the from home because that might go with what I'm talking about. Like, as far as starting, like if you're working from home or, still working, your day job.
Yeah.
That would definitely help.
You come up with a title, and then you say, well, we're going to do, and you can come up with 4 or 5 things. We're going to do private labeling. You see my point here? You can use that as a mini or micro course that drives them into the bigger one. Here's a step-by-step way. Here's the easy way. Here's it made easy. All kinds of different things that you can do that drive people into it, because you don't just want to come up with some generic name that's boring, because I'm not going to buy that course. It's not exciting to me. How to make $700 next weekend with your private label beauty business made from home. It's infinite. The main thing is, from all of this pieces of information, is the start. because as you get more information, you can get more paralyzed because now you got analysis paralysis. Why I tell you to take a note card and literally sit down with one problem and solve that.
Okay.
Solve that. People don't
So
know.
bring it from here down to here.
Yes.
One
Yes.
thing.
Otherwise, you'll never start. It'll be too much. You'll be like, I got so much in here. I don't know what to do. But then if you take one problem, you say, you know what? I was in this group last week and they kept talking about X. They just kept talking about it. It was like 50 people responding to this thing. That's a problem. That's a pain point for somebody in your space. You can create a little narrative around it, right? And either attach it to how it relates to, well, we can relieve that if you had private labeling. I'm not getting enough clients in, but if you had private label products, you see how I'm just bringing it back around?
Oh, you just gave me an idea. Oh my goodness.
Right? And then all of it relates back to, but from what you're hearing, what you're listening to, right? And then says, listen, what I've done in my business, and then you can even point it to your products. Right? If you buy 100 of my products, $100 worth of my products, I'll give you the course for free. Stuff like that. You can then just maximize everything.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that just gave me an idea because one of the reasons I started I started it last summer when my business was shut down because I couldn't do services here. So that just gave me an idea. If you're struggling, due to COVID with the beauty industry, starting your private label business. So
yeah.
Okay.
I did one for what was it called? 25 ways. What did I call it? It was hair care concierge, right? I started too early. People were like, no, we're coming back online, right? But I created just 25. I talked about 25 ways that, and I called, my title was hair care concierge was, kind of the big logo idea. And then it was 25 ways to, monetize during the shutdown or something. I can't remember. I sold a couple of them, right? But people were so new to it. They're like, what is this? What's going on here? And it was 25 very good topics on how you can make money while you're shut down.
Wow.
And I didn't do any advertising, right? And that wasn't the point. I wasn't trying to do that because it's not my space, but I wanted to see if I can dip a toe in, see if I can get some attention with it. And I didn't do the last part of it, and that's run ads to it in a very, serious and real way. I ran like one set of ads and they didn't do as well as I wanted them to for the cost, and I shut them off. Should have used YouTube, should have used IG was going nuts. They loved it, right? But that's all right. Some things you try and you think they're great, but they may be a little too new.
Right.
Right. So that's why you want to build them fast in a weekend. This can be done in less than a weekend. You get up in the morning, knock it out.
Okay.
Knock it out, be done. Right. Edit it out. Right. And I can tell you and show you all kind of different, cool, quick and easy ways to edit this stuff, get it all done, get it out there.
Okay.
Get out there for testing. Any other questions?
I actually did have one when you were talking.
Go ahead. No, knock it out.
No, I forgot it. Shoot. Oh, crap.
And when we start thinking about the funnels, this is one thing I want to mention. We start thinking about the funnels. We always got to think about what we're trying to do, right? What we're driving people to, right? And then within the funnel itself, you can peel off of. Because the funnel, may be multiple pages. It may be the upsells, the downsells, and all that kind of stuff. But you may say, you know what? I just want to use my funnel for a landing page, for a sales page, so that people can look, see, click, go to the next page. Boom. Maybe I got a little upsell there that you may not need the full funnel. And I'm not paying $97.9, and $97 is just the entry amount. They go up to like $500 a month for some of the good stuff. Oh yeah.
I bet it's making money though, so I can't. It's probably worth it.
Yeah, the guy, he grew it, but he continuously and constantly promotes it, and then everybody that comes through it, he makes sure that they do the same thing.
Right.
I buy all of his books because I just like the way he, does his business. It's all about that business. It's all about ClickFunnels and everything related, right? So you got to admire that.
Right.
So, and that's something we can learn from, but we can look at those funnels and we go, well, what's really here? What's really here? I got a nice picture. What else? What's behind that? Right. And I can tell you, just yesterday, I went through bought the product. It cost me $47 to get this guy's whole funnel. Oh my gosh. I can get into that, right? Just to look at it. And I wanted to read it, but I really liked the way this guy does his thing. He's made millions of dollars on ClickFunnels, but I see how he did it. I bought his product, his entry into product, and he had 4 or 5 upsells. And I said, nope, I don't want all that, but I wanted to learn. So each funnel, I do something like this. I got this program called Go Full Page. You see this? All right, I'm going to go ahead. Oh, then I'm off share. Let me show you this real quick. So if I am on Answer the Public again, and all right, I got a program where it's called, you'll see it starts looking like Pac-Man. So I see something that I like. You see a funnel that you like, and then I can grab this thing right here, or a website you like. It's called Go Full Page. Watch what happens.
Oh, okay.
Right, and it'll take a picture of that whole page. And the cool thing about it is that you can do cool things afterwards. Okay, you got it here. You go hit edit, and it will show you just what they had here. So you wouldn't have to, in this case, they have down for, typically you can download their stuff into a CVS or CVS, I think. But in this case, I got the whole picture. So I can look at it. So you may see somebody's funnel and you go, oh man, I love this, right? So just go ahead and take a picture of it because you want to be inspired by it. You don't have to copy it, but you want to be inspired by it. And you say, oh, I really like what they did there. And then in this case, I'll just go ahead and download that.
Wow.
You see what I mean? So my point is that, that costs pennies to be able to now look at something, be inspired by it, right? Like that, I think that webinar you guys did last week, I looked at her page and I thought, oh, I like this. So I kind of looked at it and I asked myself, how could I, you see she had pretty colors. She had cursive length, I'm not putting that in front of guys, right? Because we'll be like, what is this mess? But if my demographic is a female demographic, then that's what I want to put something like that. You know what I mean? But I may not remember where I saw this or whatever. So now you got a picture that you can go back, look in your funnel and go, how could I build that? Similar. It's working. She made $1 million. It's doing really well, really well. I was talking about Danielle. I can't remember her last name.
Danielle,
right? You know what I mean? And I go, how did she do that? And in certain cases, if it's not a lot, buy the course. Buy the darn course, right? And get the information. And then now present the way she presents.
Right.
You see what I mean? You see what she did. And I remember seeing her. Because you don't see a lot of that. It's her and Billie Jean, right? Billie Jean does marketing. You saw a couple of Black people on out there just pushing it out there. And that's the ClickFunnels way. Do a YouTube video and put it everywhere. You may spend thousands of dollars. I guarantee you, she spent $100,000 minimum on YouTube ads. Minimum. She made $1 million.
Right.
That's 10%.
Yeah.
That's what? 10%. So I'm doing that deal. I got to make $1 million first. You know what I'm saying? So
right, I know.
Did you remember it yet?
I did, yes. So from my understanding, don't you sell like other little smaller things too, right? Like little ebooks and little smaller courses. So how do you take it like how you were saying, like starting with the bigger idea and just kind of breaking it down? Is that how you build like those smaller little courses, or do you just literally just say, this is something that someone might want to, know information about? So how do, because I'm like, I don't want to charge like for these little books or whatever if it's not going to be valuable to someone. I think that's what I struggle with. So,
just give it away. And the wonderful thing about giving it away, there's a couple of things. There's two schools of thought. I took a course by a guy. He says, don't give nothing away. He said, because you don't want the ones that are out there kicking the tires, getting free stuff. You don't want them.
Mhm.
Good point, right? It feeds our ego. Hey, I got 1,000 people on my email list from this free giveaway, but only 10 of them are active.
Mhm.
You see the point? He says, charge a small amount. So one school of thought, give something away for free. Hey, here is a micro course. I got me on camera or my voice with some material, whatever it is, you can have that, right? Now on the upsell page, hey, if you like that, you might like this. So you at least get an opportunity to monetize the free ones. So you don't just give it
Okay.
away for free if you're using your email or funnel builder or your email service, right? That captures the email. They'll give you something that you can put on the thank you page. And that's what I do. I go to the thank you page that says, if you like this, trying to use the law of reciprocity, would you be interested in purchasing this for $4, $5,
Right.
$7? Now, this guy that I just took this course from, he says, you charge right away.
Okay.
Small amount, right? And guess what? I bought his book. It was $4 and it was some odd number, $4.56. He says, but because they're willing to spend $5, you got a warmer potential client.
Mhm.
So you make it valuable enough. And now I took his book. I got marks in it. He taught very, very well. It was a PDF. It wasn't on Amazon, nothing. He sells it through his own deal. He says that way you're making money to make money. And I was like,
Right.
yes. I mean, sometimes we
Mhm.
got that fear. Oh, what if they don't buy it? Well, they probably aren't your customer then. That's his whole
That is
idea.
true. Because I think I kicked myself in the butt with that one, because I'm like, what if I do this and then nobody buys it? But you're right.
So what? Here's the great thing about that. Like I told you about the one course, like, a couple people bought it, right? I learned something from it. People absolutely loved it on IG because it was visual, right? I showed some hair that was, not looking that great. And people were like, oh my God, I love that, right? I'm like, I don't want you to love it. I want you to buy it, right? But that's information for you. And we don't worry about what they don't do. We have to put this information out there because at any point we can pull it back in and repurpose it.
Mhm.
And we get some information. We learn. People says, oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like the colors. I didn't like the copy. I didn't like, it wasn't relative to me. I'm beyond that. Oh, okay. That's information for you. But it's done. It's out there that you can bring, like I say, it in and pull it apart. Give it away for free again. Get some more email addresses. No harm, no foul. Your job is to then reload and do it again
Right.
until you
Okay.
hit. I've sent I don't know how many video or emails, and then one hits and I get calls like crazy. My calendar is full because that one people want to know. Can you
Right.
help me with this? I'm gonna walk with you. Let's
Okay.
do it. And they were like, that's what I need. You got all this technology, you got all the learning, got all the tools, and you're not doing nothing with it. I'm gonna help you get it done. Yes, boom. 150 an hour, please. Right?
Right. Yep.
You see my point? So your
I
job is
do.
to put it all together. Start
Right.
wherever you want to start and or what people are talking about.
Okay.
Get it done
Got it.
fast. We're talking
I
weekend.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna start that today.
Seriously,
I've
don't
put this off
belabor it
way too long. Yeah.
because your
So
mind will talk
what?
you out of it. Don't
You said don't
belabor it.
what? Okay. Yeah.
Because your mind will talk you out of stuff. You'll be halfway. I do this with books, man. I'll be like 3/4 done with them, and I'll go, "This is the stupidest thing I've ever. What is this mess I just wrote here?" And
Mhm.
sometimes you'll abandon them. You'll abandon because you'll go, but you took too long. 5 other people came out and put it out there, and now you're going, is it still relevant? Something happened in the
Yeah.
news and nobody, cares about whatever mess you get ready to write. But if you got it done fast, you maybe could have got 500 sales.
Right.
That's the point.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You got enough to work with.